welcome to this new video from my channel, The Mental Traveler. I'm Caro Herrera and today I'm going to be reviewing a book called The Reckoning. It was written by Sharon Kay Penman and published in 1991, and it's the last of the novels in the Welsh Princes trilogy. Over the last couple of weeks I've reviewed the other two novels that precede this one, so you can check them out in the description box below, the links to them. But before I begin though, let me just say that this will be a video with spoilers, so if you haven't read The Reckoning or the novels in this trilogy, beware. As I've said, this is the third novel in a trilogy, so it begins by catching up with the people we first met in the second novel. We get to find out what happens to Llewellyn the Last, the Prince of Wales, to Edward I of England, and to the sons and daughters of Simon de Montfort. It covers around 12 years, and we get to travel to Italy, Jerusalem, Wales and France and England in this book, but it mainly focuses on three things: Edward I's determination to conquer all of Wales, the way the Welsh fought relentlessly against this, and the love story between Llewellyn and Ellen de Montfort. Overall, this is a wonderful, powerful masterpiece of a family saga, but since this is historical fiction, it's quite harrowing to think that so much of the bad things that happened here actually took place. But that just serves to make it more poignant and more magical and powerful. Okay, so I gave Ruby Dragons like a 10 out of 5 stars review because I absolutely loved it. And then I gave Falls the Shadow a 4.5 out of 5 stars review because it wasn't as good. But I'm gonna give The Reckoning a 4.8 out of 5 stars review because it was better than the second one, but not quite as good as the first one. But yeah, I can't praise it enough. It was a beautiful reading experience that kept me going through a very chaotic week at work. And now that I've finished it, I don't think that I'll ever think of Wales the same again. And I mean, I am a royalist and an Anglophile, and I treasure the British royal family so much. But now whenever I read or hear someone mention the Prince of Wales title, these books will come back and haunt me. I am glad of that because it's gonna be like a testament to make me remember what happened to Wales during the Middle Ages when they lost to Edward I. But I also hate to think that the two Llewellyns in this trilogy, grandfather and grandson, fought so hard to keep Wales an independent land, and in the end, the way when Edward conquered them, it was just such a devastating, humiliating spit on the face. And to have the daring to name his son the heir to the English throne as a Prince of Wales as a sort of mocking, powerful political technique, it's just too much. It's an insult to the memories and legacy of this part of Welsh history. And this just makes me remember that I seem to have a thing for the twilight years of royal dynasties. For example, the French kings with Marie Antoinette during and after the French Revolution. And then with Nicholas II, the last Tsar of Russia. I just love their stories so much, and now I can add Llewellyn the Great and Llewellyn the Last. But yeah, anyways, moving on. It was just a priceless experience to get to know the history of Wales through this trilogy. As I progressed my reading of The Reckoning, I cried tears of joy and of sorrow, and the ending was just so powerful that it broke my heart. And talking about broken hearts, one of the reasons why I loved The Reckoning so much was because of the love story between Llewellyn the Last and Ellen de Montfort. At times their characters reminded me too much of Llewellyn the Great and of Nell, Ellen's mother, so I'm not sure if that's because the author didn't develop them as well as she could have. But in the end, their love story was really sweet and mellow and tragic. But yes, moving on, 3 more things that I want to mention in this section would be that I had no idea that the English kings of the Middle Ages were traveling to Mediterranean and staying in palaces, kind of similar to what they're doing right now. So it was weird to have this connection to history so vividly present right now that I could understand. Also, I just can't believe how much women suffered back in the Middle Ages when it came to giving birth. Like, no wonder thousands died because of the lack of medical knowledge and all of the superstitions that people used to think would help a woman when giving birth. But yes, anyways, I just want to mention that this trilogy is the perfect example of a story that contains all of the elements that I love in my books. Stories where we start following a boy all the way to old age, when he's really lived and loved and laughed and known sorrow and defeat and jealousy and pain, and in the end all of these circumstances sort of overwhelm him along with old age. They get to the point when they're tired of living. Back in the fall of 2016, I first read The Sun in Splendor, which is Sharon Kay Penman's most famous work, and I totally fell in love with it. So I'm sure that the first time that I must have become aware of Here Be Dragons must have been when I researched the author's other books. But even though I am an Anglophile and a royalist who loves the British royal family, I'm more familiarized with the most recent monarchs, from Queen Victoria onwards. So because Here Be Dragons dealt with kings from the Middle Ages that I didn't really know that much about, I'm certain that must have been the reason why I didn't really pay that much attention to this trilogy. Which reminds me that back in 2014 I actually went to Wales for a day, and it's so frustrating now to think that I was there at the place where this trilogy took place, and I didn't really appreciate it because I didn't know anything of its history. So yeah, I really want to go there again so that I can really take in what a beautiful, vast heritage the Welsh have. But yes, anyways, the reason why I finally decided to give this trilogy a try was because someone recommended it to me after watching my review of The Sun in Splendor here on YouTube, and she highly praised Here Be Dragons and encouraged me to read it. So I checked it out again, and I now thought the plot sounded more intriguing. I read some reviews and they all praised it as being really good. And in the end, I read the first couple of pages, and just with that quick sample, I knew that this was gonna be a book that I really loved. Why? Because I seem to have a tendency for falling for novels that deal with English monarchs, or in this case a Welsh prince, that begin with them being boys out on their own, having this adventure in a forest. For example, Here Be Dragons, The Sun in Splendor, and Once and Future King by T.H. White, my third favorite book ever, which deals with the life of King Arthur. But yeah, those are the reasons why I finally decided to give the Welsh Prince trilogy a try. Next week I'm going to start reviewing a trilogy that's also written by Sharon Kay Penman, and it's sort of like a prequel trilogy to the one that I just reviewed, the Welsh Prince trilogy. Why? Because this is going to be a story of Henry II and Eleanor of Aquitaine and their parents, and it's going to end with their children, who are the characters that we first meet in the Welsh Princes trilogy, Richard the Lionheart and King John. I'm just such a sucker for big family sagas that it's quite impressive to be reading two trilogies about this family that came to be connected to the English throne in one way or another. So yeah, please keep an eye out for that next week. And well, anyways, this is the end for my review for The Reckoning. Thank you so much for watching it. Please let me know if you enjoyed it or not, as well as what are your own thoughts on this story, because I would love to talk about this novel with you. And in the description box below you can find a link to The Reckoning's Goodreads page, as well as a link to my review for Here Be Dragons and Falls the Shadow, the first two books of this trilogy. But anyways, yeah, I'm Caro Herrera, the Mental Traveler, and I hope you have a wonderful day wherever you are in the world. I'll be seeing you soon. Goodbye!